I completed a master in physics and I'm a bonsai artist and a massage therapist. So, how did this come to happen? How did I end up following this unusual life path? Well, before I finished my master, the pandemic started. And in that time, I just spent a lot of it in the garden. I was already watching YouTube videos about bonsai, and I spent so much time in the garden taking care of trees, pruning them up, taking them out if they were growing in the wrong spot and potting them up. And so this is one thing that I was doing every single day in my own free time, alongside finishing my masters, giving the last exam and working on my thesis. And then, of course, my idea was to continue straight, doing research in the field that I specialized into. But during the months that I was waiting for an answer from a professor in Canada for a PhD program, I saw a YouTube video that changed the course of my life because I simply finally could put a name to what was my attitude towards science and research, which was not confined to nanotechnology and material science, which is what I was specializing into, but rather it was a much broader way of asking questions, of seeing schemes in different kinds of systems to see what's in common between them. And I'm talking about the field of complexity science or physics of complex systems. And so I was getting really excited about studying trees and learning something about humans and using that also to learn about other natural phenomena or artificial, like the flow of water in a river and the traffic flow in roads, or ants, how they move, how they coordinate. How is it possible that a collection of small and simple things can have such new emergent behaviors that are not present at the level of the unit? So without going on a tangent on what is physics of complex systems, it was much more aligned to my way of asking questions. I didn't want to get stuck in one field in which, for how cool it is, it's still always in the same field, the questions and the answers that you get to. So I said no to the professor when he came back to me saying, yes, you can come to Canada. And I started working towards getting into a PhD in this other field. Turns out I was not the right guy. I didn't study for it, so it didn't work out. It was kind of hard to get into a program. And also recognize I didn't want to limit myself by the methods of the professor, the methods of academia. I wanted to be more free. So I asked myself, what is it that I'm doing every day, that I love doing, that when I'm doing, I'm not thinking of something else, and that I can also get paid for? And that was bonsai art, taking care of trees. So I started sending out emails, calling people, and I managed to convince someone to take me on in their bonsai garden in the Netherlands. Without knowing me, I just showed with word that I knew a little bit what I was talking about, because I did reflect a lot. I did not only practice in trees, but also my mind at that time was very active, like rationally, intellectually. And so I did have a lot of concepts about growth, about long-term thinking and guiding the tree to develop a certain way. And so I have the chance, I find a home to rent and I start this adventure. And the first days I'm really elated. I'm exhilarating. I'm finally making my own path that is not set already by other people and I'm just following it. No, I'm really making it. I'm the one choosing. Everyone is surprised at home. But how come you studied physics so much and now you're doing this? It's hard to comprehend for people that are in this mindset of just going straight linearly. But I did not think that I wasted those 5 years studying. I really learned a lot. I developed my way of thinking and looking at the world. And now for me, it was simply time to follow what I wanted to do. And so turns out that life was also difficult. In particular, my boss was kind of stressed. He survived multiple burnouts. It was a bit hard sometimes to work with him. And also, I was kind of lonely in the Netherlands. I didn't manage to create a social life around me, to find the right people that resonated with me. And I was thinking about social life back in Sardinia, my home island. It was summer and thinking about playing drums in the square in the night and having fun. So at one point, it was not clear that it was good for me staying there working. So I came back to Sardinia. And that was alright, except for the fact that I overestimated the ease with which I will find more jobs. So I stayed many months at home, not wanting to be there and looking for ways to get out, doing what I love, not settling for something less. And next year, in February 2023, I have a good opportunity because my old boss calls me back for repotting season, that's start of spring. And I say, yeah, great, sure. And at the same time, like a month before, in February, there's a big bonsai event called the Trophy, which didn't happen for 2 years due to the pandemic. And that was a great networking opportunity. Be there to meet professionals and offer my services. So I went there 1 week before. I offered as a volunteer to help behind the scenes, to set it up, to get in before the show started, to, talk with people and make my face known. And that worked quite well. Could have been much better in my way of communicating, but in any case, I did find some work in Germany. A guy that I had already emailed, but for some reason didn't get back to me. So now, after this event, in which, by the way, during that time I was hosted through like couchsurfing or similar, and I had a great connection with a local guy. And this is also part of the path, because you do meet people and they can change what you imagine you're going to do. So after the show is ended, I went to a community in the forest in Belgium still. And that was also an amazing time, very healthy, to live without technology, basically without electronics, to not having anything external to tell you what to do. But of course, you wake up, you have energy, you do things for yourself. You chop the wood, you light the fire, you cook the food, and following the sun to go to bed and to rise again. So I'm also grateful for that time, that connection with people, because only a certain kind of people ends up living in a community in the forest. After this time, I move again to the Netherlands and I work for 1 month. I kind of overwork myself. Also, the room I found for rent was 1 hour away, half an hour bike, half an hour train to the bonsai garden. That was really taking a toll on me, that every day I had so little time left for myself. Also, my mental life became much simpler. It was, I put my energy into the work with the bonsai, the trees, and then I only have time and energy for buying the food, cooking the food, eating, washing myself, sleeping, and start again next day. So something good happens the first weekend when I finally buy some weed and get high in a park and have a session for myself, for my body, to release so much tension that I had accumulated in that week of work. And my perspective changes, goes much more positive, away from worries about money and to this is good, let me be in the present, it's okay. So 3 more weeks gone like that, the last week of which I moved from that room to the bonsai garden itself. My boss is so kind to host me. And after this month I was exhausted, so I go back to the forest to replenish myself. It's hard, the transition, because now I'm also stressed, I'm also thinking about working, I have to do stuff and I have to adjust again to life in the forest, which is much more chill. In that time I meet a German guy and his Italian girlfriend, and from the very beginning there's a connection, there is a seeing each other, there's a resonance. They offer to host me, that's what they do, they have a flat, they describe it as a little hippie hub. So I say, okay, cool, I'll keep it in consideration. And that same day we share a mushroom trip, so we already get connected. So after that I move to Germany. For 3 days I work, and I hoped that I could work for longer, but the guy said no, this is the time, 3 days. Okay, so I moved to a farm, again hosted, volunteering, a good time, but it very much depends on what mental state you're in, because again I was in doubt. I didn't know what I was going to do, and I also needed to take care of my body to solve pains and tensions that I had, and I managed to do that. And I also contact these guys that I said, German and Italian, and they say, yeah, sure, you can come. So now I have a plan. Now I'm okay where I am, but I know where I'm going. So that's also kind of good. And again, just this little change of perspective makes me much more positive and productive. So from there, I go to Düren, which is a little city in Germany close to Cologne, and I stay there 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It's an amazing time because I wake up with friends, I spend the day with friends, and the next day again I am with friends. Not like when you have to, organize for 2 hours per week to spend with them. So it was an amazing time of resonance, of helping each other and supporting each other and talking deep, and an amazing feeling of finding your tribe. So from that period, basically for many months, my life is kind of going back and forth between Belgium, the Netherlands and Germany, in the forest, doing a week of work in the bonsai garden hosted by my boss. Then going back to the forest, then going to my friends, like this. And these friends hosted me very generously all summer. I enjoyed so much having the flat for myself when they were on vacation, focusing so much on relaxing, really spending many hours each day stretching, massaging myself. So also, I mentioned at the beginning that I am a massage therapist. How did that come to be? Well, simply, it's a skill that I developed for myself and on my friends. And then at some point, I started to invest on it, like practically, going in the city and leaving flyers with my number to call me if you want a massage. And it actually worked, especially when I went into a sauna and offered my services. And then for months, I went there massaging people, and I made kind of good money. It's really a well-paid job to do something good to people, okay? So in these months, I focused on growing, I focused on feeling free, feeling myself. I was not tied to a simple path of I studied this, so I work for someone else. No, I was rather building my life, building myself, without attachments, without responsibilities for now, but figuring things out. Like again, for myself personally, for business opportunities, because it's also when I started to post a little bit. I didn't yet find my way with content creation and posting, but I knew that that was also part of my journey because I have much to share, so I'm letting my voice out because I do want to help people. So I'm also studying for other skills like coaching, helping people on different levels, not just the physical one, even though I already help many people in their movement journey, in their fitness journey, nutrition and emotional regulation, also how to think, how to look at life. There's a lot of insights that one can share when first they develop these insights for themselves and for their life. So this is what I'm going to do. First develop things for myself and then let them overflow to other people. So luckily, my boss in the Netherlands has a friend in Indonesia, and one day he said to me, hey, would you like me to contact this guy? He has a bonsai nursery, maybe you could work for him. Well, long story short, that happened. I finally had an excuse to leave Europe, which I already wanted to do since a long time because, Germany, Netherlands, it's all the same thing in Europe. I really wanted to see something different. And so in this April 2024, I had the chance to go out with a short step of work and people waiting for me. So that was great. The last months that I spent in Germany were also great because I knew they were finite. So my mindset was, when I'm in Indonesia, I will think about Indonesia. Now that I'm in Germany, I think about Germany. So I enjoyed my life. I had a wonderful tribe of friends and people around me, a lot of free time and everything going well. Of course, always a lot of internal problems, but little by little you work at them, you accept them and you improve. And so now 3 months ago or 4, I started my trip in Southeast Asia. The idea was to work 6 months, but then after 1 month I said, I don't need to work. I'm not learning something new because the boss judged me kind of superficially and he was not really using my skills for tree care. I'm not making money because I was paid like a local, maybe even more than a local, but still nothing compared to European money, where some days in the sauna with massage, I did as much money as I did in 1 month there in Indonesia. And also I was not doing something good for the world. My service was just to the company and to the boss to make more money. So I said, this is enough. Thank you, with handshake and no hard feelings at all. I just started traveling freely. I found people to host me. I stayed away from touristic places. I was in small villages and I really enjoyed the peace and my time because I can be okay with myself. I can stretch, I can meditate, I can write, I can read. And so, but also I had the question in myself, what do I do with all this freedom, with all this well-being? And that's when I started more seriously to post stuff. Like that was the thing. I have all of this good in me. Let it out. Let people see it because it can grow and multiply in other people. So I kept moving, I kept connecting and sharing and enjoying myself and growing and improving. So when my visa ended in Indonesia, the cheapest flight was to Malaysia, and I ended up in a small island, Langkawi, which was also amazing. Again, I was hosted, super lucky. I didn't have to work because there was nothing to do. So I just took care of myself. I rented a scooter, I explored the island, I have my experiences, I grow, and I meet people that deeply resonate, people that are really brothers, with whom I could grow, and I still am growing. After that, I have a change of pace in my travels, because my idea was to travel slowly, step by step, locally, when the visa ends. So I still had 2 months in Malaysia. But my friends from Germany were going to Nepal, and they said, well, we're taking a big step towards you. Can you take a step towards us? And so in the end, I decided, yeah, okay, I don't know when is the next chance to meet them, so let me come. And I took flights to Nepal for a specific date, a specific place. And then a different adventure started, because we went to a meditation school. That was another experience where I learned a lot. I will share in a future video. Then I did more volunteering, and now I'm again free. I don't want to limit myself, and I'm going to Thailand because there's something calling to me. So to wrap this up, this is all to say, I have skills, I am confident in myself, I want to explore, I want to see things, I do not fear, I am not limited by the usual path that they make us believe is the path, the normal. You study, you work, you buy the house, you are in a relationship, you make children, and that's it, and then you enjoy your time when you retire, because before that you have to work. No, it's not like that. No, I'm working on my happiness day by day. This is the priority. How I feel, my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual growth, they are the centerpiece of my life. All the rest is around. I don't want a relationship because I need it. I want to be complete in myself, and then if I find other complete beings with which to exchange, that's amazing. We'll grow together. But yeah, I just look at the future with openness and confidence, and I don't really even have to look so much into the future, because the present is enough. I know which steps I'm taking now. Yes, I have to know where the peak is of the mountain, but if I don't look at my steps now, I trip over and fall. So I keep going. I'm a nomad now. I have the privilege, the luck. So with European money, I can really go for a long time and keep working on building my future by being in the present. And it will not be something that goes against me, but it will be aligned to my growth and to the good that I want to share. And so to wrap this up, it was a bit of a ramble, but this is also part of it. This is me sharing about myself, my journey, so that I can inspire someone, maybe teach something, and just show myself, be authentic, maybe satisfy the curiosity of someone who knew me before this change of path. And for now, That's all. Thank you for listening.